Good morning, students. Usha Sajwan ma'am, your science teacher. So, students, we will continue chapter 15 Bio Improvement in Food Resources. We have already done that to improve crop yield, we have to make improvement in three sectors. First sector is crop variety improvement. That is, we have to improve the variety of crop, that is mainly the seeds. Then second is crop production improvement, and third is crop protection improvement. In crop variety improvement, I have already explained you hybridization. What is hybridization? It is a crossing between genetically different plants to get a new variety which possess desirable traits of both the parents. Then second, with the genetically modified crops. In genetically means genes, modified means changes. In genetically modified system, we introduce a gene in a plant to show desirable characters. The crop which we obtain is called genetically modified crops. Then students, we studied the various factors for which improvement is done. Like first is higher yield. That is, this hybridization method and genetically modification method is done to obtain higher yield. That is more production per hectare, right? Then second we did biotic and abiotic factors. Biotic means living and abiotic means non-living. So there are many living organisms like insects, fungus, nematodes, they destroy the crops. And many abiotic factors like too much of heat, cold, too much of salt, salinity, drought conditions, that is shortage of water, waterlogging, that is stagnant water, they may damage the crop. So now such varieties are developed which are biotic and abiotic resistant. They can tolerate, right? Then third we did improved quality. In improved quality means, I have told you, explained you earlier also. For example, it is, if it is wheat, so its baking quality is improved. For example, it is pulses, so protein quality is improved. For example, they are oil seeds, so how much oil they produce, that improvement is done. For example, in 1 kg of seed, you are getting hardly 250 ml of oil, and in another variety of 1 kg of seed, you are getting 350 ml of oil. So there is improved in quality, right? And in case of fruits and vegetables, I have already explained you in detail, they're preserving quality, right? Then fourth is change in maturity duration means they all mature near about at same time, so it is easy to harvest them at one time. And secondly, shorter the duration of maturity, more economic is the plant. For example, one variety take 3 months to mature and one variety take 2.5 months to mature. So जो 2.5 months वाली variety है, it will be more economic beneficial. For 15 days का benefit हो गया. Then there is reduction in labor, reduction in money, reduction in field area. So change in maturity plays a very important role. And the last one is very important, that is desirable agronomic features. Agronomic means agricultural features. For example, if it is cereals, so we want to grow cereals which are short heighted. What is benefit of short height? with the short height, they will able to tolerate windy conditions, heavy rainfall, and less nutrient will be consumed by the crops. And in case of fodder crop, which is meant for kettles, livestock, we want them to be very tall and very branched, profuse branching, so that more and more food is available to the crops. So this was crop variety improvement. Now second topic is crop production management. Now students, it is very important to manage the fertility of the soil, because there are the nutrients which are taken by the plants. Plants take nutrients from soil. If nutrients are given to plants, it will improve their production. So for that, nutrient management is required. So the topic which we will study now, that is nutrient management. In nutrient management, first we will study that there are near about 16 nutrients which are required by the plants. Like for example, it is carbon, oxygen. So carbon and oxygen plants take from air in form of CO2. So carbon and oxygen, they are two nutrients which are taken by air in form of CO2. Then the another nutrient which plants require, hydrogen and oxygen, which is obtained from water, right? So rest of the 13 nutrients, the mainly rest of the 13, 14, 15, 16. So mainly 16 nutrients are required. 2 are provided by air, 1 is provided by water, and rest of the 30 nutrients the plant mainly obtain from soil, right? So it is very important to maintain the fertility of the soil. These nutrients, they are divided into two categories. One is macronutrients. Macronutrients, as the name indicate, macro means in large quantity. There are some nutrients which are required in large quantities, and there are mainly 6 main nutrients which are required in large quantities by the plant. For example, nitrogen, for example, phosphorus, for example, potassium, right? And there are some nutrients which are required in very less quantity. They are known as micronutrients. Micro means very less. They are important but in negligible, in very less, in traces they are required by the plant body. For example, it is iron, right? For example, it is boron. For example, it is zinc. They are very much important for the plant but in very less quantity. So there are two categories. So students, you will be learning the differences, macronutrients and micro. First you will do the definition, and secondly you will be doing their examples. Near about 2 to 3 examples you have to learn. So on page 206, you can see these are the 16 nutrients which are required by the plants. No need to learn all the 16 nutrients. 2 from air, carbon and oxygen. What hydrogen, oxygen from water, rest from soil. Two categories, macro and micro. At least 2 to 3 examples of macronutrients and micronutrients. If there is deficiency in these nutrients, the plant will not show proper growth. It will not grow, it will not show flowers or fruits, or it will may be prone to diseases, right? Proper growth will not be there, more prone to diseases, and may not show formation of flowers and fruits if nutrients are not there. So, to maintain the nutrient level of the soil, what we add, manure and fertilizers are added to the soil. Now, manure. You have done in class 8 also. And if I am not mistaken, you have done the differences between manure and fertilizer also. Manure, they contain organic matter, right? They contain organic matter, for example, cow dung, right? So they contain large quantity of organic matter which we can add to the soil to enhance their fertility, right? And students, from the book, you will be marking some of the important points of manure. Like the last para, students, manure, what it is prepared by decomposition of animal excreta, animal waste and plant waste, which help in formation of manure, and then we add this manure to the field to increase the fertility of the soil. This manure, you keep on marking beta, this manure, this whole para. So this manure, it also helps to improve the soil structure. For example, if it is sandy soil, you know, it takes too much of water, right? So sandy soil takes too much of water. So in that case, students, if we add manure, the sandy soil absorbs more water in less period of time. For example, I will show you, like here there is a flower pot with the sandy soil. So what is the nature of soil? Sand, sandy soil. If we pour water, water immediately trickles down. Water immediately trickles down. Now you see the roots are here. Roots are here and water has reached here. So how can roots take the water? So in that case, when we add manure, that manure stops the water here and slowly the water trickles and absorbed by the roots. So it changes the soil nature, right? And in case of clay soil, you know, clay, right? So in case of clay soil, this organic matter manure helps in proper drainage. So it helps to improve soil structure. So there are 2 points related to this, right? And students, this manure is eco-friendly. You add large quantity, then also it will not cause any harm to the soil and plant. Now next, very important, you will put star on this topic, that is the kind of biological material used. Manure can be classified as, first, compost and vermicompost. कंपोस्ट यू ऑल नो, जितना भी फार्म वेस्ट है, राइट, किचन वेस्ट है, लाइव स्टॉक, काउ डंग, वेजिटेबल वेस्ट, सीवेज वेस्ट, that is decomposed in a pit and composting is done. It is rich in nutrients. Nowadays many people do it at home also. They fill the bucket with the waste, cover it, add little bit of water and soil, and after 15 to 20 days the color changes to black. It means what is prepared? Compost is prepared, right? But the special case which you will be studying here is vermicomposting. Vermi means worms. This is mainly done, nowadays people do at home also, but mainly it is done in the governmental farms and by the farmers. What they do in the fields, in the compost, they add earthworm. Earthworm you have seen in rainy season. So they add earthworms. What is benefit of earthworms? Earthworm increases the rate of decomposition. As a result, compost is prepared very quickly. Here it takes many days manually, naturally. But here with the help of earthworm quickly breaks the waste into useful product. So earthworms are used, it is known as vermicomposting. Clear students? And then second is green manure. Both the topics are very important for definition and example. Green. In green manure, what they do? They grow certain plants. In green manure, we don't prepare the manure. We grow certain plants like gore or sun hemp. Why we grow in between the field area? Field के बीच में we grow it. Why? Because these plants, when they grow little bit, they are taken out and they are mixed with the soil. उसी फील्ड की सॉइल के साथ इट इज मिक्स्ड. व्हाई? बिकॉज इट इज रिच इन phosphorus and nitrogen. And I told you earlier also that nitrogen and phosphorus are macronutrients, very much important for the plant growth. This is the nutrient which is required by all plants for their growth. It is a building block. So in fields we grow certain plants like sun hemp or gore. Students, you have to learn these two examples for 1 mark or 2 marks, sun hemp and gore. So these plants, when they grow little bit, they are taken out and mixed with the soil, same field. And why they are mixed? Because they enhance the soil with nitrogen and phosphorus. So this was about manure, which is grown naturally, doesn't harm to environment as well as soil and plants, eco-friendly. Now the chemicals which are used in plants, which are prepared in lab and industries, which enhance in large quantity the fertility, that is fertilizers. Fertilizers are very good to the plants and crops. They easily mix with the soil, they are easily taken by the plant, right? They are water soluble and they are more nutrient than the manure. But students, fertilizer has a major drawback that if they are not used appropriately, they cause harm to the soil as well as plant. Rest all points are positive, good, related to fertilizers. But the major drawback is if not used in proper dose, proper amount, they are harmful for plants. Fertilizer are harmful for the plant because they are chemicals, and if we use them in large quantity, they may destroy. Last para students you have to underline, they destroy the soil fertility. उस soil में जो organic organisms are there, like earthworms are there, right? So they destroy those organisms and destroy soil fertility. Like for example, it is said that everyday routine pe you should not take medicines, allopathic medicines, because they are what? They are chemicals. So for example, you are continuously taking for headache, so headache is cured, treated, but it may weaken your bones or damage your hair or skin, right? So fertilizers are similarly, they are very strong chemicals, they are very good, they are nutrient specific, they give large quantity of nutrient to the soil, but the problem is used in large quantity, they may damage the soil fertility. So they should be used in appropriate amount. Okay, students? So students, the next category is organic farming. Seeing the drawbacks of fertilizers, nowadays you might have heard also, आपके घरों में भी शायद होगा, in your kitchen, organic tea, organic vegetables, right? What is organic farming? In organic farming, there is minimum use of chemical, or you can say no use of chemicals. So there is no use of chemicals. Instead of that, there is more and more use of manure. Now to kill pest and insect, instead of using chemicals, certain plants, certain plants are grown which destroy the pests and insects. That is, there is minimum or no use of chemicals such as fertilizers, chemicals like herbicide, pesticide, but more use of organic manure. Then bioagents are used. For example, in field, neem or turmeric. Neem and turmeric, they are used in storage system so that no insect and pest damage the crop. Or blue green algae is grown, is cultured in fields so that it add nutrients to the soil without causing harm to the soil. Or different techniques are introduced to increase, to enhance the fertility of the soil, to maintain the fertility of the soil, that is mixed cropping, intercropping. Students, we will be doing these methods later on. or crop rotation. So several methods are used instead of using chemicals to grow more and more crops without causing any harm to crops, human beings and soil. So this type of farming is known as organic farming. Students, I hope you have understood. So rest we will continue in next lecture. Thank you students. Take care.